Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Hallie Jones. A former Texas A&M student has been sentenced for one of several alleged sexual assaults. A prosecutor for the case reflects on its implications. KRHD reporter Rebecca Fiedler brings us more.
Jacob Pape, a former Texas A&M student, Christian camp counselor, and member of the Brothers Under Christ fraternity, was sentenced this week to spend 7 years in prison for sexually assaulting a woman. Today, I spoke with prosecutor Jessica Askew, who says that Pape used manipulation tactics that often keep sexual assault survivors from coming forward. There are a number of resources available for sexual assault survivors to turn to in Brazos County, such as the Sexual Assault Resource Center, and for students, Texas A&M's Counseling and Psychological Services. Still, many are reluctant to come forward for a multitude of reasons. In the case of Pape, the age-old tactic of shaming and victim blaming was utilized.
He also had a religious aspect to that. He knew that our survivors were extremely strong Christians. In fact, all three of them were extremely strong Christians, and he used the Bible and some teachings in order to attempt to manipulate them to believe that the assaults were their fault.
The survivor in this week's case came forward after hearing a sermon from Breakaway Ministries, which supported the victims of sexual assault, encouraging them to speak out. Roommates of the defendant, who had noticed concerning behaviors, heard that same sermon.
This had a huge effect not only on our survivors, but also on the defendant's roommates, who were also people of faith, to see that they needed to step in and do something.
Askew says that many people need education on consent. Laws in Texas concerning sexual assault have updated definitions in recent years to include coercion. The Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, known as RAIN, explains that sexual assault can occur by means of coercion and psychological manipulation.
We always encourage survivors, whether or not they want to report this to law enforcement, to reach out to the Sexual Assault Resource Center. They have professional counselors and advocates that can advise survivors of sexual assault cases what their potential solutions are.
Askew also encourages survivors to speak with law enforcement, even if they don't feel as though it would help anything, because it just might.
We tell survivors, even if we are not able to definitively prove your case, having that record, if they potentially harm someone else, can be potentially used as evidence in the case, just like it was used in this case.
This week's case involved just one of 3 alleged victims of Pape's. Another alleged victim has their own case against Pape pending in court. Reporting in Bryan, Rebecca Fiedler, KRHD News.